Hey guys, we are back with some more New York Islanders franchise mode, and it's been a week. It's been about a week since we've last posted. Took a break for the Christmas break and ready to get back at it. And I hope you guys had a good Christmas. But we're back here in New York, and we got a lot of work to do still. We are not done making trades here. And they're both pretty big. So I'll start off with the Detroit Red Wings. They're 2-4-1 in the preseason, and they are hopefuls. We're going to be giving them draft picks, and quite a few draft picks actually. A first, Colorado's second, our second, and San Jose's second. This is a lot of value. They want all of them though, so I'm not complaining here. And we are going to be getting back Brandon Montour. And you might be wondering, this is not all that we're getting back, right? Well, in terms of players, it actually is. But the value that we're getting here is we are going to be retaining 50% of Montour's cap. And actually, I might have to do the other deal first just because that's taking off more salary cap for us. Well, actually, the system will let us do it, so I guess we can do this first. So we're going to be trading a first and 3 seconds to Detroit for Brandon Montour at 50% of his salary. The reason I'm getting Montour is because we need depth on defense badly. If you take a look at who we lost this past offseason, we lost Ryan Pulock, we lost Noah Dobson, so we had to replenish our defensive core. We are still in a position where we are going to be competing for the Stanley Cup, so I did not want to have I wouldn't say mediocre, but I wouldn't want to have an average defensive core, or even below average defensive core, especially on the top 6. So when you take a look here, we got Riley Durett, Shane Wild, but then after that you got Walfordson and Kempney, 77, 75, really not the greatest. So that is why we are going to be getting Brandon Montour. And as for the value going the other way, it is a lot, but you have to keep in mind here that the main asset for us coming the other way isn't Brandon Montour, but it's the fact that we're getting that kind of quality player for this kind of salary at 2.7. for the next 3 years. That's very valuable for us, and that's why we're giving up this much. So, yep, Bodie Wild will not be moved down, but we're going to make this trade anyway. There you go. So, roster moves, I will not do that just yet. Yeah, sure, autofix roster. We're going to be making one more trade here. It's going to be to the San Jose Sharks. They're 2-3-2 in the preseason. They're contenders, and they want our defenseman, Brady Shea. Now, I know what you're thinking. You just traded for a defenseman. Why are you trading another one away? Well, here's the thing. We're getting 2 defensemen back. Not only 2 defensemen, 2 quality defensemen. And 2 defensemen that I know pretty well in Damon Severson and Will Butcher. Now, they don't want to give either of these guys up. However, we're going to be doing the exact same thing yet again. Retaining 50% of Will Butcher's salary cap, and they're also going to be retaining 50% of Damon Severson's salary. Now, this is going to be a lot of value because we traded a lot of value just for Brandon Montour at 50% of his salary, and now we're doing it for 2 players who they don't even want to give up here in San Jose, so we're going to have to give up a lot of value. So going back the other way will be Shea and Maxim Artsukin. He is one of our best defensive prospects. However, we're just kind of in that position right now where we need to get as many solid defensemen as possible as cheaply as we can. And Artsukin, yeah, he's very good. And he probably will be very good in the future. But he doesn't fit into right now for this team. We are a right now team. We need to build our defensive core back up to the way it was, or at least close to the way it was. So we're going to be adding Artsukin in here, and I'm not worried as well. As long as we have solid drafting for the next couple of years, we should be fine. We should be able to get that medium elite defenseman back through the draft. And one other piece we're going to be adding here is Dubinsky, medium elite forward, 49 overall, so he's definitely not a part of our near future. He's going to probably take a while to get to the show if he does it all, but he's still considered an elite prospect, so we're going to throw him in there as well, along with Artukin and Shea. So Shea, Artukin, and Dubinsky for Butcher and Severson, both at half of their salaries. Trade accepted. And remember, the main asset for us here isn't just the player himself, but it's the quality of the player while having that quality of a player tied to that salary that they have. For Will Butcher and Damon Severson, that's $3 million, which is very, very solid for both of them. So now when you take a look at our defensive core, and then send down Clapperton and Ketney, we now have Riley, Durrett, Severson, and Butcher, and then Montour and Wild. That looks much better, if you ask me. And then Walfordson will be our injury replacement player for right now. And the best part about this is we are still 2.5 within the salary cap. So we flip Shea for basically Severson, Butcher, and Montour. That's pretty solid, if you ask me. Now, we did give up a lot, I will admit. I didn't really like the look out of it either, but again, when you consider that all the teams that we traded with are retaining 50% of the salaries of the players that we got, I'd say that's a pretty good deal. Especially for us in our position where we are really, really not in the position to be offering too many big contracts. So we got all of those guys at a minimum of 2 years. I believe Butcher is, no, not Severson. I believe Butcher is on a 2-year, yes. Butcher's on a 2-year contract, and Severson and Montour are both on 3-year contracts. So that's a very, very good deal for us. That means at least 2 or 3 more years of contending without having to worry too much about our salary situation. And remember, the only contracts coming up this year, I believe, are Wild and Czech. So that's pretty good for us. Not too much to worry about there unless Czech grows significantly, but I don't think he will. I think he'll grow maybe 1 or 2 overall, but that's about it. That's all I could see anyway. But we should be prepared for the worst. And I do have an idea for a trade in mind, should it be necessary, but we're going to hold off on that for right now. Those are the only 2 trades we're going to be making today. And one more thing that I do want to do, actually. We'll go back into contracts here. We are going to be signing one of our recent draft picks in Nikolai Kolesnik. As so far, he is a 70 overall, and he's been tearing up Russia with 4 assists and 1 goal in 4 games. And when you compare that to last year, he's already on pace to just crush that. He had 6 points in 45 games last year, and he already has 5 and 4 this year. So he's definitely gotten a lot better from when we drafted him. I mean, he's literally playing. Yeah, look at that ice time difference: 11:29 to 19 minutes in 4 games. Yeah, we're definitely getting Nikolai Kolesnik over here to North America right now. We need him in the minors, as he could be a key player for us going into, you never know, maybe year number 9 and 10, he could be that player that we need in order to replenish our depth, because again, we're definitely a team that is going to be having more cap issues down the road, whether it's sooner or later. You know, just given the fact that we have Matt Barzal and Andreas Mueller tied up into 26 million between the 2 of them, that's always going to cause problems. So, but we're making the best of what we have right now. We have a solid defensive core once again. And as far as forwards go, we're kind of just going to have to deal with Hines, Pouliot, and Pekarainen for right now. I kind of want to see how they do as well, because you never know. Pekarainen and Pouliot might be 79, and then Hines might be a 77, maybe even a 78. So I kind of want to see how they do. And we're just going to trust them as the 4th line. hopefully they can get it done, and then hopefully, you know, our top 9 guys at forward can really take over scoring this year, as they normally do. Because, you know, we got guys like Wallstrom and then Streit, Ho-Sang, who normally gets 50 assist seasons. He didn't have that great of a season last year, but that's only because he was not on the power play for the majority of the year, as opposed to previous years where he has previously gotten, you know, 45, 57, 42 assists. He's pretty good. So that's why we're not making any more trades for right now. I don't feel comfortable trading away any of our forwards, but the defense absolutely needed to be overhauled. So that is why we trade Brady Shea. So now, when you take a look at our defense, 4 of our guys are 3 mil or under. And then we only have 2 guys who are making 8.2 and 8.25 respectively. That's pretty solid. So I'm just going to make sure that we have 20 skaters up here. For injury replacement, we do have 7 defensemen, so that should mean we have 13 forwards. And yes, Bastian will be the replacement player for right now, and then Hutchinson and Oda in net. So let's go to the lines and see what we have here. So Mueller, Barzal, Wallstrom, that's kind of a given. Ragnarsson, I'm going to have the same lines as last year, at least in terms of the top 6. Streit, Commodore, and Ho-Sang. And then Ottoson, Cizek, and Ragnarsson for the 3rd line, and then Hines, Pouliot, and Pekarainen for the 4th. Then on defense, you have Riley and Durrett, Butcher and Severson, the old Devils chemistry right there, and then Wild and Montour. Yep, that looks exactly the setup that I want, so no changes there. And then power play, Wallstrom, Mueller, Barzal, Riley. Instead of Durrett, we'll get Wild. And then Butcher and Severson. Not Severson. I mean, he's good on the power play. I know from watching him, but I kind of want Cizek to get some more time on the power play, and Butcher is a power play specialist. So Ragnarsson, Streit. We do need Wallstrom on there. Well, Wallstrom's already on there, but I meant Ho-Sang. And then at center, we will have Commodore. So Ragnarsson, once again, not getting any power play time, but that being said, if any one of these guys gets injured, he's the first player who goes on the power play, so keep that in mind. And then for the 4-man power play, we have Barzal and Wallstrom, Riley and Durrett, who will be replaced by Wild. And then you have, I'll do Mueller here, and you know what, we'll give Ragnarsson some time on the 4-man power play. And then Butcher and Severson, yeah. Penalty kill, we have not Pouliot, not Pekarainen. I mean, they may be good defensively. We don't know just yet, but that's why we're not going to start with them on the penalty kill, because we don't know just yet. So, Commodore, Barzal. Alright, so here's the other issue, is that all of our top 9 are offensive players. I mean, there's Ottoson. Ottoson's a good defensive player. He's a power forward. He's got a good takeaway to giveaway ratio, I believe, anyway. Well, last year was kind of unfortunate that we forgot to put him back in there, but we will definitely not be forgetting him this year, as, you know, our depth is kind of hurting. And then, let's see, Ottoson, Barzal, Commodore, not Pouliot. We will have Cizek, maybe. I mean, he did have a pretty solid takeaway to giveaway ratio last year, but he's not much of a hitter. Commodore's already there. Barzal's already there. Ottoson's already there. Hines, no. Maybe Mueller. I mean, yeah, I think I'm going to have to use Andreas Mueller here on the penalty kill. And then, as far as face-offs go, it'll be Barzal and then Ottoson and then Commodore and Mueller. And then Durrett with, yeah, I guess Riley. I don't want Wild there. I want Montour. And then Severson, yeah. That looks good. So we'll do the same thing here. Riley and Durrett. And then Montour and Severson. There you go. And then Montour on, yeah, Montour's on the left. And we'll get Pouliot off of here. And we'll put Barzal. Then 4-on-4, Barzal, Wallstrom, Riley, and Durant. That looks good to me. Mueller with Commodore. Actually, I'm going to go Strite and Ho-Sang. Because Strite's pretty solid at face-offs. And then Strite and Ho-Sang are two peas in a pod practically. So then Butcher and Severson. And then Commodore and Mueller. Or even, we could do Mueller and Ragnarsson since he's not getting as much time as Commodore. So yeah, we'll do that. And then Montour and Wild. We'll put Wild on the left. He's got that nice shot. And then 3-on-3 will be Barzal, Wallstrom, and not Durant. I don't want three righties on the same line. We'll put Riley there. Then Mueller, not Czek. We'll go the same as the 4-on-4 lines here. Mueller on the third line, and then instead of Commodore here, we'll put Ho-Sang, and then we will put Ragnarsson with Mueller. So that's a lefty and a righty, and then that's a lefty and a righty as well. Okay, good. Just want to make sure. And then I suppose we'll have Severson, and instead of Durant, we'll put Butcher. Want to make sure that on the 3-on-3, we have guys who can get it done defensively and offensively, you know? So there you go. And then extra attackers, Barzal and Commodore. And then on the shootout, we have Wallstrom, Strite, Barzal, Mueller, and not Pekarainen. Yeah. We'll go Ragnarsson. I think the shootout lineup has stayed exactly the same for like the past 3 years or something now. And then, of course, in goal, we have the man, Jason Hutchinson, and then Jace Oda as well. Then Walfredson and Bastian are the replacement players for right now. And there you go. There are your year number 7 New York Islanders to start the season. So let's just make sure that all the jersey numbers are all good. All the captains are all good. Because remember, we traded Ryan Pulock, one of our alternate captains. And the game is saying Barzal's the captain, Mueller, and Wallstrom for the alternates. And you know what? After the playoffs Wallstrom just had in the past 2 50-goal seasons, I really can't argue with that. So pretty much the first line is all of our captains here. And I don't disagree. So Pouliot, number 33, just making sure everything's good here. 88 Hines, Ragnarsson, Pekarainen 35. Okay, Riley 44, Butcher 8, Walfredson 6, Durant 77, Severson 28, Montour 27. That looks all good to me. Hutchinson 43, Oda 37. Let's get into the season here. Next thing we'll do is we'll check the draft class, see who's available for the upcoming draft. We already have a report on Cantor here. Trenton Cantor, defensive defenseman, 6'4". Looks pretty solid. We know for a fact we're not picking top 5 unless we get very lucky with the lottery, and one of our first round picks happens to be a lottery pick. And that'll be about it for that. We did the lines, we did the captaincy, we've made trades. I think we are set to start the season. So I do want to keep this rather short compared to usual just because of the Christmas break, and I got very behind on recordings, so I want to do as much as possible today. And I'll be honest, I'm still very behind. This is the first video I'm recording in probably 2 weeks. So we're going to simulate 1 month, I'll say, and then we'll see where we're at in terms of time. And how many away games actually do we have this month? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, because I was gonna say, because I didn't think up until Vegas I didn't see a single home game there on the schedule. I was like, wait, where's our home opener there? Got a little concerned that this entire month was away games. Anyway, let's get up to the game against Vegas, and I might do a third period. Yeah, I'll do a third period. But it's going to be a 3-minute third period, so it's not too long. And then pretty much immediately afterward, we're just going to simulate the rest of the month, and we'll call it a video. So, a win against Calgary, and then a unfortunate loss there against Chicago, 6-0. That is Brutal. But here we go. Let's get into the game against Vegas. So, sim the first 2 periods, and then we will get in there for a commentary third period. First period. There you go. So, Commodore and Ragnarsson on Lindholm, and then Barry and Archer on Hutchinson. Second period. Wow, we're going into the third period with a 3-3 tie. Strite with a goal, and then Faxa with a goal on Hutchinson. Let's go. All right, here we go. Barzal on the faceoff versus Scheifele, who's on Vegas now. Durrett gets that puck off the faceoff, gets it up to Riley. His defensive partner gets into the zone, down low, and taken by Vegas. Krebs takes it up, gets it to Scheifele. Scheifele, across the line, finds Larkin, who finds Klingberg on the point. Klingberg back over to Barry for Krebs. Scheifele is unable to hold the zone, and he'll have to dump in as Hutchinson steers that aside. Riley over to Durrett. Barzal up to Wahlstrom. Wahlstrom into the zone. Gets it over to Mueller, who finds Barzal. Barzal with the shot that fanned. Wahlstrom has it. Over to Barzal. Barzal takes that shot. And Vegas is able to get it up. Number 9, Cody Glass dumps in on the glass. Riley has it. Tries to get it out, but cannot. Durrett up to Wahlstrom. Wahlstrom into the zone. And he'll dump around the boards. And Miller will take that for Vegas. He'll find Tuck. Tuck for Pearson, but they go offside with 13-13 left in the third. Second line out there now for your New York Islanders. Strite, Commodore, and Hosang. Commodore will win the faceoff. Back to Butcher. Butcher over to Strite. Bennett Strite, the former 50-goal man, looking to get back to form this year. Hosang takes that shot, goes high of the net. Glass sends it around the boards. Lindell up to Tuck. Alex Tuck, number 89 for the Vegas Golden Knights, looks for space, doesn't find anything, and has to contend with Butcher. Butcher battling with Tuck. Tuck back to number 17, and he gets it back. Miller on the point. Finds open space, and he gets that shot wide of Hutchinson's cage. And Stripe battling with Lindell. Lindell has it for Vegas. Gets it over Foligno. Foligno with the drop pass. And over centered, but cannot find Tuck. Stripe tries to get it up. Finds Foligno instead. Miller to Lindell. Foligno cannot control. Miller will get it down low for Foligno, who gets it around. And finds Tuck. And Glass in front gets the game-winning goal as it stands. And Vegas now has a 4-3 lead with 6:42 remaining in the third. And we'll see if that stays the game winner. Hopefully not, as we'll have to work a little bit harder here, will the New York Islanders. Yeah, Cody Glass just right in front there. And there's pretty much no chance for Hutchinson there. Yeah, no one defending him either. Yeah, that's 99.9% of the time going to be a goal. So, third line out there for your New York Islanders now. Ottoson, Cizek, and Ragnarsson. Cizek loses that faceoff. Marsh over to Foligno. Marcus Foligno for Vegas. Gets it back to Marsh. Foligno back over to Marsh, and they play catch a little bit. Archer has it now for Vegas on the boards. Foligno. This line for Vegas doing some good work in the offensive zone, but Ragnarsson gets it back for New York. Ottoson tries to get that pass, but intercepted by a Vegas Golden Knight. Archer, and he gets it over to Marsh. Carlson finds Archer. Archer in the zone, looking at his options, finds Marsh. Marsh over to Foligno. And the Vegas Golden Knights are passing it around very nicely right now as Carlson takes that shot from the slot, and that is saved by Hutchinson. Cizek up to Mueller. Mueller tries to find space. Looks at his options, finds Cizek, and that puck will flutter right over the glove of the Vegas goaltender. And Wahlstrom has it now. Back to Durrett. Mueller finds space, dumps it in as he sees nothing. Wahlstrom to Cizek. Empty net now for the Islanders. Durrett has it, and that is going to be a slashing call, I believe, as Larkin, number 69, will go to the box. I believe that was slashing. I did see a little pain in the hand there. Yeah, it's got to be a slash, isn't it? Yeah, that is a slash on Dylan Larkin. Let's see if the Islanders power play can get something done here in the last 37 seconds and send it to overtime. So Barzal wins that back. Wild to Commodore with the shot. And a good save by the Vegas goaltender. Wahlstrom in front. And Lindholm will cover up. Commodore on the face-off once again. Strike, Hosang, Barzal, Wild, all with him. And then I didn't see who the sixth skater was. Stick lifted there by an Islander, but cleared by Vegas. And Riley will get that for the Islanders and send it for strike. 14 seconds remaining in the third. Hosang has it for Riley. Back to Hosang, and Menino will intercept and send it 200 feet. And will that be all she wrote? We have 3 seconds left. It looks like it, and Commodore and Strike will not be able to get that to the net in time, as Vegas will win this one 4-3 in the home opener for the New York Islanders. Alright, so rack of the menu, and let's just get through the rest of this month. Then we'll check out the stats briefly, and then we'll call it a video. You guys can let me know what you think of the trades, and what you think of the offseason in general. And unfortunately, Will Butcher has been injured with a strained hamstring until October 21st. So that's luckily not too far from now. I don't want to replace player, as that is going to put Walfredson in there. So I'll get Montour up here with Severson, and then with Wild will be Walfredson. Yeah, and oh, here we go. Jason Hutchinson, 85 overall. So he's not playing like it so far, though. 877 save percentage. That is brutal. He does have a shutout, but kind of a shaky start here so far for Jason Hutchinson. Hopefully he can pick it up as the season goes on. 4-3 loss against the Calgary Flames. That is certainly not helping anything. And oh man, yeah. Oh, that's rough. Luckily we got a win there against Washington, but the past couple of games before that were not too pretty. Bridgeport Leonard Reardon has been injured with a mild concussion until November 1st. We'll replace him for right now. I'll take a look at the AHL as well. I guess in the next one, Will Butcher is back and fully healed. Wonderful. We will get him back in there. We need him. There you go. That should be good. Now, please, come on. Let's get some solid defensive efforts going here, boys. Oh, man. Not what you like to see. 6-5 shootout loss against the Chicago Blackhawks, then a 2-1 loss against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah, so a little bit of a slow start here for your New York Islanders. A lot of a slow start, actually. Holy moly. 4-7-2 are your New York Islanders going into November in year number 7. Not too pretty so far, unfortunately. I mean, we're not in a bad spot at the moment. We're still, sort of in range. I mean, we're only 13 games into the season, so luckily we still have a lot of time to right this ship. But it clearly, at the moment, is a little shaky, and something might need to change in terms of lines. I don't want to make a trade just yet, but we'll see what happens here in the stats, I suppose. So Barzal doing fantastic as usual. 14 points, 13 assists. And then Wahlstrom on pace for another 50-goal season. I mean, I don't know what to say about this guy anymore. He just blows my mind every season. Every playoffs as well. I mean, 17 goals last playoffs in 23 games. He already has 9 goals in 13 games on 49 shots. I mean, he's just unbelievable, is Oliver Wahlstrom. Andreas Mueller, so far with 9 points. Cizek with 9 points. Let's see how he is. He's actually an 83 overall, second line forward, so I'm glad we're giving him power play time, because he's currently on the third line 5-on-5 and the power play, so He's getting the time that he needs. Bennett Strike currently is actually struggling to score goals. Only 2 goals at the moment. Minus 10 as well. That second line, might have to take a look at that. This is very, very uncharacteristic for Bennett Strike. Normally, he's shooting around 16%. I mean, he's literally stayed consistent with 16% his entire career up until this point, where he has a 6.1. Yeah, not too good so far for Bennett Strike. We're gonna have to take a look at that second line, see what's going on. Yeah, I mean, he's getting a few hits there. He's not giving the puck away too much, at least compared to how much he's taking it away. So we'll take a look at that second line for sure. Ragnarsson with 7 points, Riley with 7 points, Severson with 5, Ho-Sang only with 4. Ooh, yeah, that second line really is not doing too well. Only 2 goals and 2 assists for Ho-Sang, so it's not even like, yeah, and Commodore 4 points as well, so it's not even like Ho-Sang or Commodore are getting the goals to make up for Strite's lack of goals. It's just a lack of goals in general on that second line, and Strite's just getting a lot of assists. I'm guessing from the defensive core, and I'm guessing that more often than not, they're playing with Severson and Butcher. So we'll definitely have to take a look at that. Butcher with 4 points over 10 games. Pekka with 3 points. Ottoson with 3 points. Wild with 3 points. Montour with 2. Pouliot with 2. Durat with 2. Hines with 1 goal. And then Bastian has not played yet. And Walfredson with nothing in 3 games. Leader in plus minus so far is Montour and Wallstrom. And then the second line definitely needs some work there. Minus 11, minus 11, minus 10. And then the second defensive pair is kind of shaky as well. Butcher and Severson both minus 6. And then Riley and Duret are actually both minus 5 as well. So really, the top 4 defensive core at the moment is not looking too good, and neither is the second line. So we might have to change something up there in terms of line changes, you know. So Walfredson has 0 shots. Pouliot has 7. Take a look at the top. I mean, it's obviously Wallstrom. 49 shots in 13 games. He's an absolute animal. Commodore with 37, actually. So he's quite the shooter as well now in terms of the quantity of shots that he takes. And then Mueller, Strite. No one's going right now in terms of goal scoring, really, besides Wallstrom and Mueller with 6 goals as well. But, yeah, not getting anything really in terms of goal scoring from Bennett Strite. And he's one of our big-time goal scorers. We need him to step up big time with scoring goals there. Mueller with 2 game winners. Commodore and Cizek with 1. 2 power play goals for Cizek, 2 for Mueller, 1 for Commodore, 1 for Strite. I think I might see the problem here right off the bat. Yeah. Power play is looking a little rough. We have a total of 6 power play goals scored so far. I have a feeling the power play is abysmal at the moment. Just over the course of you know, how many games? 12 or 13? Only 6 power play goals? I don't like the sound of that. I do not like the sound of that. Face-off percentage, Barzal doing just fine. Commodore doing just fine. Pouliot's actually doing well as well. Cizek not so much, 45%. Could take a look at that as well. Hits. Ottoson and Mueller with 27 each. Durat with 26. Severson with 18. Barzal with 18. Riley with 17. Montour with 15. Wild and Strite with 14. Blocks. Riley and Duret lead the way for defensemen. And Ottoson and Ragnarsson lead the way for forwards. And then giveaway to takeaway ratio. This should be interesting. Ho-Sang's actually pretty good for the takeaways to giveaways. He's just not producing points. So he's at least been good defensively. Well, in terms of not giving the puck away. Because that entire line has been terrible defensively. Minus 11, minus 11, minus 10. Just not in terms of, you know, giveaways. Commodore, so he's more the same, actually. 12 and 8. So it's not terrible. And Strite has a good ratio as well. You might have to wonder if that's the defensive pair that's holding them back. Maybe of Severson and Butcher. However, Butcher has a very, very good ratio for a defenseman. 8 and 8. Happens to be his numbers there. And then Wallstrom, good ratio. Barzal, not so good. 8 and 10. But he is one of the only ones producing points on this team right now. And Ottoson with 8 and 3, he's good. Severson, very good defenseman. Very good ratio for defensemen. That's very interesting. The fact that Butcher, Severson, and then the second line are all minuses, yet their takeaways and giveaways are actually pretty good in terms of the ratios. So I'm not sure what's going on there. As Hines with a good ratio, Cizek with a good ratio, Pouliot could be better, Pekarainen good, Wild. I mean, there's not much you're gonna do about that. He's a defenseman, so that's still a respectable ratio for defenseman as long as he can keep the numbers themselves down, like his total giveaways equal, let's say, less than 60 on the season. I'm okay with that. And then Ragnarsson could be a lot better, 4 and 7. Mueller could be a lot better. Oh my goodness, 4 and 10. And then Durant 4 and 7. That's a respectable ratio for him. Montour could be slightly better. I usually like to have defensemen at a 2-to-1 ratio or less, and that's 2.2 to 1 or something like that. So as long as he can keep it around there, that's still good. But I would rather he, try to keep the giveaways down. Obviously, Walfredson, what you're gonna do? 1 and 3. He's not even a staple on the blue line, so not too concerned about him. Fights Durant already with a fight on the season, and that is about it for skaters. Goaltenders, let's see. Jason Hutchinson has not lived up to expectations so far this season. .899 save percentage in 13 games. 2 shutouts, but the games that he has let in goals, they've come in bunches, it appears. So we're going to see if he can learn how to control his starter role, as he is an 85 overall, so he should be pretty good, but he's not simulating like at the moment. But I will make note that besides last season when Gibson went on just an amazing tear, the New York Islanders are known, at least in this universe, to be slow starters. So it's only been 1 month. We're not going to judge too far into Jason Hutchinson just yet, or really any of these guys, but I will say that we should at least look at the forward and defensive lines and see what combination changes we can make. So that is going to be about it for player stats. We will take a look at team stats because I'm very interested to see what the power play numbers are looking like, specifically the power play numbers. So goals for per game, we are currently at 2.85, not terrible, but goals against per game is where we are falling off big time here at 3.46. That is unfortunate. And power play, okay, power play is actually pretty solid. 24% on 25 opportunities. Okay, I mean, I guess that's reasonable, but penalty kill, actually, penalty kill isn't too shabby either. It's 80.6. It could definitely be better, but it's not terrible like Philly's or Washington's. So when it comes to defense, it appears to be mostly from 5-on-5 that we're letting in goals here, as we've let up 45 goals in total, and only 6, or no, that's a power play, only 7 on the penalty kill. So 38 of those goals have come from 5-on-5. It's not too favorable there in 13 games, especially when we haven't even scored as many goals in total as we've let up 5-on-5 goals. So, yeah, definitely got to look at that for sure. And did we take a look at the awards for last season? Stanley Cup, New York Islanders, Dallas Stars, New York Islanders for the Prince of Wales, Art Ross, Jack Hughes, Hart, Jack Hughes. I'm just doing this just in case we didn't look at it. I completely forget. Seth Jones, Norris, Bing, Tyler Sagan, Calder, Bouchard. I believe we did, actually. Wallstrom, Conspot. Yeah, we did. I remember now. We did, but it's still good to jog my memory a little bit here. It's been 2 weeks since I've recorded, so. All right, so now, I guess, yeah, that'll end the simulation part of things. That'll end the stats. We're all good there. Let's just check on the draft class one more time, and then we'll end things off. All right, so our scouts have done absolutely nothing so far. Good to know. Anyway, that'll be about it for this one. Let me know what you guys think of the trades that we have made, all the offseason moves. I'll actually leave a list of all the turnover that we've had over this past season on screen right now, all the players that have gone out, all the players that have come in, just to show really how much this team has changed over the course of 3 months. And especially right after coming off of our Stanley Cup victory, we want to make sure that we're once again in the playoffs and contending for the Stanley Cup. So let me know what you guys think. Any possible line changes, penalty kill, power play, 5-on-5, let me know. And I will see you guys in the next one.